senses. Good morning, everybody. Alright, today's a special episode of PincheAls Garage. We are going to review Raceland's air suspension. Giving you guys a pre-warning right now. The air compressor will come on, and it is very loud. The reason for this, I don't have any interior in this car at all. So the insulation in here is horrendous. So you're probably going to get a lot of road noise. Ignore that for now. Now, what I'm going to be reviewing today is Raceland's $900 air suspension. I will be using Airlift's V2 autopilot management to get it all going. A lot of people have been asking for this, and I mean a lot. I've been asking for reviews for this product because I guess a lot of people want to get into it. Now, the bags are cheap, but you guys don't have to understand. You got to put management. Management can range you anywhere from $300-400 any starting price, all the way up to anywhere from $1,500 to almost $2,000 just for management. Okay, and what I mean the $300 to $500 range is literally paddle valves, an air compressor, and a tank, and all the lines and fittings. That's it. That's basic. Paddle valves are awesome though. Super easy to install, super easy to get your car up and running and be on air. The other management is a little bit better because it'll auto control your PSI, push of a button, less lines to run. Everything's just self-contained, a lot easier. However, you gotta fork out some dough. That being said, we're using Airlift's V2 management. It's old school. Compressor's gonna kick on in just a moment. So let's pause that. I'll take a break and then we'll get it to reviewing. So I set my V2 controller to 32-33 psi up in front to 44-43 psi in the rear. The cool thing about Raceland's air suspension, just the suspension, remember, they're coilovers, but they're body coilovers, so the whole shock assembly threads into another body instead of just a spring adjusting its height only. The great thing about this, the dampening doesn't change and your shock travel doesn't change as well. Instead, you're just lowering the body itself versus changing the height of the amount of shock that you're going to lose. I like that a lot. You still lose a little bit of shock, but nowhere near as much as like coilovers where you go really low and then you go down to 1 inch to maybe 2 inches of shock travel. I measured mine of about 3 inches all around at this PSI, which is pretty dang low. I'll show you guys later how low it sits. Yesterday I drove the car for the first time in 3 weeks since I bought it, and I had it, the rear shocks were set too low on the body. I had it about 4 inches, pretty much gap, and it was just super stiff. I mean, the car literally rode like, I'm not gonna say like, it rode like I had like really high end like coilovers. You know, the dampening felt like there was just no dampening. It was stiff, not bouncy. You guys got to understand the difference between stiff and bouncy. Bouncy is where the car just keeps going and it doesn't stop. Stiff means it goes boom and it doesn't move. It just goes clunk clunk. Now I have kind of like a rolling feel, almost stock, but like a nice high performance stock suspension. So let's go take this car for a drive, and I haven't driven it yet. I only drove it up and down the street after I set it to make sure I was even on everything. So this is a first for me, and this is going to be PincheAls Garage first for reviewing the product. So let's get out of here. So my car is super filthy, and I'm not going to clean it until the car gets painted. And so I'm not even going to care. I might wipe the windows down, and that's pretty much it. I really don't care for cleaning this car until I'm ready to be happy with it. So, like I was saying earlier, my PSI is at 32, 33 upper front, and about 45 in the rear. And it rides really dang well. So, one thing you guys gotta notice is it's a little bouncy. We're gonna go in a really rough area of my neighborhood in Escondido, and it's really not bouncy. I mean rough around here, and I love it because it helps a lot to determine suspension. And so I'm going to give you guys a little background history here. I've had a lot of different suspensions on Mark IVs. My first suspension was an Airlift V2, Raceland basic coils. That was my first coilover setup. And then I upgraded the FK street lines. And then I upgraded to Bilstein PSS 9s. And then I went to Airlift Slam XL suspension. And then I've upgraded to, and I lost my car. Then I don't know if I downgraded or upgraded with these Raceland bags, because they ride really dang well. So it's really hard to say if I downgraded or upgraded from the Airlift suspension. I'm going to close the windows in just a minute. I got to plug in my controller so you guys can see. I'm going to pull over to the side right now. So you guys can hear me better while I'm driving. Sorry about that. Alright, back to where I was at. So, I've had pretty much from cheap coilovers all the way to $2,000 coilovers, and then to my first air suspension with Airlift, the Slam XL series. So, as it sits right now, I'm really liking these bags. If I'm going to compare them to the Airlift. Airlift, they were very spongy, so they were soft, don't get me wrong. They didn't stiffen up until I aired it up pretty high. And usually when I mean by pretty high, I was running around like 50, 60 PSI, and that's when the car was actually pretty stiff. And that's when I was actually able to, like, you know, take it out for a drive and really push the car to its, not limits, but some spirited driving. And like I was saying, the road noise is rough on this car because there's no interior. And right now, I mean, I'm really liking this. These run like my Bilsteins. I mean, they're really stiff. I think I probably have to air up a little bit more on the front. A lot more. I think I'm a little too low up in front, because I'm bottoming out a little bit. But they're really stiff, guys, and I like a stiff suspension. Like, I honestly do. It makes the car more responsive. So I'm gonna bring it up to 40 up in front. Actually, let's do 43. Alright, so I'm set to about 43 PSI, so I added another 10 more PSI up in front. Yeah, so I was saying, I like stiff suspensions because the cars feel a lot more responsive, more alive. and they perform a lot better personally, I think. So right now, as it sits, I'm really enjoying the suspension. And if I would have to choose from Airlift bags, I'm talking about just the bags, not their management, I think I would actually prefer the Racelands right now, as it sits. You know, but remember, they're really stiff. They're not bouncy. Keep that in mind. I always got to rephrase that because there is a difference between stiff and bouncy. And I'm liking it. So we're gonna go down and we're gonna head over to another road over here that has a couple little good winds and stuff. And I'm gonna actually drive it pretty rough and see how it performs. Now, I can increase the softness of the suspension by upgrading the control arms on this, which I'm going to do next. Right now, the control arms are literally shot. I mean, I can literally wiggle the wheel forward and back. So the caster on this car is pretty bad, and the camber is actually pretty bad as well. So I'm not enjoying that. And that's probably why the car is bottoming out more than it's supposed to. So, but it's really fixable. I mean, it's a $70 repair with new polyurethane bushings, which you want to get. I would not upgrade to like just stock bushings again. I would definitely get much stiffer bushings. So I'm hoping that will change the characteristics of how the car drives. But for right now, I mean, these ride really well, like I was saying, and I really like the way that it rides. Right now I have the car's PSI around 43, 45 all around, front and back, and it's working pretty dang well for the moment. One thing that I do miss about coilovers is, you know, you don't have to remove your sway bar, so you get a sway bar, you know, get a little bit better turns and stuff. But when I chopped off my sway bar, my old setup, and went to bags, I honestly didn't notice that much of a difference, you know, with or without the sway bar. So that says a lot to me, you know, about how much handling you get out of a shorter chassis car, you know. However, when I upgraded to a rear sway bar, my new speed 31mm, holy hell, did the car change its driving characteristics. It felt like I was on rails. So now going to 43, 45 PSI up in front. The car drives even better now. I'm actually liking the way it runs. Actually not that bad. I'm actually pretty dang impressed on how this car performs with the suspension. I mean, I honestly don't think I'm on bags. I feel like I'm more on a really nice mid to almost high-end suspension on here. And when I mean mid to high-end, I'm thinking about like $600 to $1,000 coilovers, which to me, you know, this is what you get on that kind of a suspension. You know, stiff, very good handling. Not a spongy feel to your, like, when you hit a bump or anything like that. I got a little bit of a road noise because I got to get an alignment done. But as right now as it sits, I'm pretty dang happy. Now, while this is going, comment below on the chat and tell me what you guys think about your air suspension. One thing that I always pride myself and love is hearing your guys' comments and getting your questions, because, you know, what other better feedback to get is from from you guys so I can, you know, answer back. On the rear, I do have IDF plates, IDF drop plates, so it does change the geometry a bit more because it gives you about another 20, it raises the car, it lowers the car another 20 millimeters and adds about 2 degrees of camber. So the rear handle's actually a lot better, a little grippier. If you guys are on stock, you know, all around, just the bags, the car might feel a little different. I could be wrong. Man, I'm really liking this. The car feels really good. On my Cypher Auto seats, these are pretty stiff seats as well. They don't offer a ton of support. They keep you seated, like, you know, planted in the seat, but they're not very soft and cushiony, so they're not like stock seats as well. So if you have some stock seats, you know, you probably won't be as hard, I guess is what I say. Yeah, man. I mean, these are some pretty shitty roads over here where I live in Escondido, and the car is, I mean, I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. I'm pretty impressed with the setup. Raceland, you guys did a really good job. You know, for a $900 set of bags, this is pretty legit. Some of the other bag manufacturers out there, you guys can learn something from these guys. On top of that, their warranty is for life. They guarantee these bags for life. All their other suspensions are only 1 year to, I think, 2 years. Or 3 years, I think, with their Primo coils. That's pretty legit. I'm pretty impressed with their warranty. And I'm actually pretty impressed with these coilovers right now. You know, you guys can see, like, some shitty roads, and the car is not responding horribly to this shitty road. I remember when I was on my Raceland coils with blown control arm bushings. Man, was that a rough ride. Talk about bouncy. And man, I set those things low too, so I mean that means a lot. We're gonna take over here, Valley Parkway. This is a little bit smoother road, but it has a pretty decent amount of little turns. Nothing crazy. I don't want to push this car too hard because, like I was saying, the control arms are pretty bad. The axles are actually really bad. So, I just replaced all the front and rear brake pads and rotors, all new brake lines, just because the car was pretty sketchy to begin with. I wanted to just be safe, and when I'm on the road, I don't want this thing to run, you know, very, very unsafe. So I wanted to be able to stop if I had to. Now, there's that air compressor. Wait a minute. Noisy ass compressor. So we're gonna bring like 60, 70 miles an hour. See how she likes to perform. And this is not a swervy road, but a curvy road. So it's got some good little turns on it. And so far, she's riding, Filbert is riding really well. About that, guys, it's really annoying. U-turn. Where are we going? Taking the car downhill and see how it performs. Reverse is about to turn off. Whew, it's hot in here. I got no AC, so it's great. Alright, let's go back. Squeaky, 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 squeaky. So we're on our way back, and I'm pretty damn happy with this setup. In all honesty, I'm very, very impressed with it. So if you guys want a recommendation, buy these bags. Okay? If you guys are going to try to buy like a set of coilovers that are like $600, save a couple bucks more. You know, if you bought these bags and, like I said, I did an old school management setup with pedal valves, they'll probably set you guys back about $1,200–1,300 bucks, if that. That's usually what the cost of management alone is. So, personally, buy these bags. I'm very impressed. I'm very happy with them right now. You know, and we've driven probably a good 7–8 miles. Maybe a little bit more on some really crappy roads here in Escondido, and they're very smooth. about, like I was saying, 42, 44 PSI all around, front and rear. And the car is doing very well. Very, very well. So, and this is coming from somebody that's had them all. You know, so I can give you guys a legitimate opinion. You know, I'm very happy with these guys. Very, very happy. I might see if Raceland will make a set for my Passat wagon. I'd love to have those. And that wagon is on Bilstein PSS 9s. And I paid $1,800 for those coilovers. I mean, don't get me wrong, they ride smooth as hell with a fully stocked car with a bunch of people in them. But I can't raise the car when I need to. I mean, I'm almost going to scrape or break off my oil pan bolt on that car because of how low that thing sits. But don't get me wrong, low cars look really good, but man, if you can't function, it sucks. In all honesty, bags is where it's at. You know, they got function and form. You know, car works, handles really well. And once I get my new control arms and some other upgrades done to the car, we're going to do another review with the bags. And we'll do a proper and thorough review going up to the canyons. We're going to take a trip down to, up to Ramona, and that's a really, really windy road. So that will definitely put these bags to the test. One thing I also love about these bags, they offer full camber adjustment in the front. So I can do up to 2 degrees up in front, which is great because, you know, number one, it'll increase your handling. Number two, if you need to go lower once you get the frame notched, you can do it. You know, get that fitment all proper like. You know, I'm always down for a proper fitted car. You know. Got a weird noise up in front, like I have an exhaust leak or something. It's kind of weird, but it's not an exhaust leak. Alright, I'm going to have to lower the window a little bit, guys, because holy shnikes, it's hot in here. So if you're like me and you're on a budget trying to build a freaking show car again, go with Raceland. I'm pretty impressed. So Raceland, thank you, and YouTube, thank you, because this is actually my first product review and I'm really impressed with it. So I'm going to try to do some more, you know, for Mark 4s. Even though almost anything and everything's been done on Mark 4s, that's for sure. Come on. So thanks again everybody for watching this special episode of PincheAls Garage. I'm PincheAls, and these are Raceland bags, and I approve these. Personally, I mean, I like them a lot. So thanks for watching.